Okay, people, this is an alert. It's April 10th, 2016. Okay? I'm pretty sure Sook said April 10th. Because they came on March 10th. So, the following 10th of the following month. And of course, nobody is talking to each other right now. So, I'm outside, sitting here on the steps. Finally, 10 after 12, I phoned up my landlady. And she phoned her daughter, and apparently it's Sunday today, and everybody's resting. So it would be tomorrow, be back to business as usual. Right? I don't know what to say, people. I'm just having panic attack after panic attack. I haven't been able to go out, because I don't have my car, right? So it takes too long to walk where I need to go and walk back. And with all this pressure in the yard, I had just been putting all my energies in the yard, right? And just basic dishes and a few loads of laundry, and that's about it. The rest of that time is, yard. Sleeping a little bit. And so anyway, long story short, I haven't been able to get my eye drops. Refill, right? For my eyes. So I've gone I don't know, 2 weeks anyway, maybe pushing on 3 without my eye drops. So my pressure, I can feel it, right? Is really, really high right now. I was going to go tomorrow to the bank and then on the way back go and get my prescription, and I was going to make inquiries at the Van City Bank there how I can hook up a PayPal account to the one that deposits go in. I have 17, even though it comes in Van City, even though it comes in all in one statement, there are 17 accounts. And Van City has already said that over the next 6 months or whatever, they're changing something so that if you don't do deposits every 6 months into these 17 accounts, they're going to start closing them. And I'm like, well, if you start doing that, you're shutting down the system that I created in terms of being transparent with those ledgers and those accounts. You start merging all that money coming in, if and when it comes in, if it ever comes in, and if it does come in, it should go into their individual accounts the way I set it up. And that's why some things ended up being trust accounts. So that when you do your books and you go through your income statement, it's easy to just go to that one ledger that has its own independent account, and then you can go back into the bank statements as far back as that account's been opened, right? Some were opened in 2001, some were opened in 2006, some were opened in 2012. Some have gone dormant, some have kind of gone off to the wayside where we need to reset them up and do a new application to get the same numbers so that we can carry on with what we were doing. So anyway, I can still do something, right? So I'm going to find out how to set up one PayPal to a Van City account, because there's 17 to choose from. So I'll talk to the treasurer there and we'll decide which is the better one, right? In terms of setting up a fundraiser for the pet program and try and import that online as he promotes it in his way, right? And then we're going to get a couple of collection boxes out there, because something needs to be done about these raccoons. And if the city of Surrey doesn't want to do it, and the province doesn't want to do it, and the federal government doesn't want to do it, because the raccoon is a protected wildlife, well, then I guess it's the community that has to do something about it. And maybe this might be the first stepping stone to get on that, get into that direction where, if we have some funds, and if these animals are being caught by pest control, right, in various locations throughout the province, because this just isn't a Surrey problem, then even half of those raccoons being spayed or neutered with their rabies shots and anything else that these things carry, like maybe deworming them or something like that, before they get relocated out into the wild, not back into city dwelling, then that's the main thing that I'm going to push right now with the nonprofit in terms of the pet program. And then of course, because everything is broken up into percentages, right? 30% on a provincial level on the dollar, it doesn't matter. It's going to the province. Even though I don't like the BC Liberal government, okay, and I don't want to do anything for them, and I don't feel very generous, it's already written into the program. So, if you take $1 and you put it into the collection box, 30% right away it goes into its own account. There's that ledger. There's those separate bank statements. So that when the province comes knocking and say, well, gee, we heard that you had 30% on the dollar for us. We're kind of interested because we're short on some cash here, and it would be a great help if we had a little extra to work with so that we can carry on and do the things that we need to do on a provincial level, right? And then 40% goes into on-site development, okay, of the program. So in this case, if we're dealing with raccoons, and we want to bring in a spade and neuter program with all the shots and deworming and all this other stuff with proper relocation. I mean, obviously the guys that are catching these things in protective gear, okay, they're taking them somewhere. The city of Surrey dog catcher didn't know where they were taking them. So that's a good question to find out the answer to. Where are they taking these animals? Because if they're just releasing them 2 blocks away, that thing will find its way back to my house because they're territorial. So we need a tracking, a tracking method in terms of, whether they get the chip or whether they get a clip in the ear, a tag, I guess that's what you call it, so that we know where they're being relocated. And if we wanted to do a follow-up on them to see how they're, managing being spayed and neutered out in the wild amongst, unspaded, neutered ones, then, to assess the program development, you could track the animal if it's already tagged before it's released back out into the wild. And you can do all these things within the guidelines of federal law, provincial law, municipal laws, because this is a public health hazard. This is a public health hazard, and it needs to be dealt that way, right? Because apparently in Ontario, further to the east, a lot of these raccoons have rabies, okay? And it only takes one to get the rabies in order for the infection to spread. And that puts every domestic animal at risk in terms of cats that don't have their shots, and dogs, and squirrels, and coyotes, and just people. It puts everybody at risk. So 40% would go to the vet that would deal. I mean, that's within the realm of the 40% when you're dealing with the vet, right? In terms of, well, are we spading and neutering raccoons, or are we spading and neutering boots too? Because they both need it. And shots and deworming. And homes, right? So, depending on the dollar amount, I mean, obviously, if there's just a little dollar amount in there, you're not going to get too many animals fixed. If there's a large dollar amount in there, well, there you go. Now you're going to see some action. You need that micro level first before you get into that macro level. This is just the micro stages of what I'm talking about. And then, so that's what? 70%, right? Out of the dollar. And then I think I chopped off a flat rate of 20% on that dollar for program development in terms of promotion, paying for boxes, because you have to, if you're going to get 4 collection boxes out there, you're going to get more collection boxes out there, and, you have to pay for these things, pay for gas, for people to pick up the money and to ledger it, and that type of thing. Just general operating expense, whether you're paying somebody to do these things, or you're paying for materials, or you're promoting the program, whatever it is, there's that 20% in there off the dollar. And then I think what's left? 10%? 10%? So 5% would go to the district account in terms of Surrey District. So that they can build in at some point, like the province, right? Well, gee, there's 30% there. Like we hear there's like $100,000 in there. Like the $100,000, I'm pretty sure we can do something with that over a period of time. Well, it's the same kind of concept. I'm talking. It's the same kind of concept when Who's
that?
Hello, son. It's the same kind of concept with the 5% going into the district account. Okay. Eventually, at 5%, it can accumulate very quickly under the right micro circumstances, right? And then whatever the city does through their local pounds, and animal shelters, and SPCAs, and that type of thing on a district level, that will be just a little extra cash for them to draw on to enhance whatever it is that they're doing. And then 5% goes into the Universal School Meal Program Trust Account, which would be District Enhancement Number 1. And that's why that one is with HSBC Bank, and it has its own bank statement, people. And then over a period of time, because we've got different programs for different things. We've got the community collection box. We've got the, the Apple Box program. We've got the Social 2 Security, which is the medical, the dental, the eye care, that kind of stuff. And then we've got the pet program. There's 4 different types of boxes. Either or, it doesn't matter. 5% from all of them is going into that Universal School Meal Program. That was the only way that I could get money going towards a Universal School Meal Program, was one little pebble at a time. 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Like those little sequins and those little beads that nothing really ever matches up. But sooner or later you have a whole container full because you took the time to put that 5% in there. So anyway, I guess tomorrow is the day when the city of Surrey is going to come through the yard with my landlady. And right now nobody's talking to anybody. So we'll just leave it at that and just try and think about, getting these little collection boxes out. These things here, I haven't put the words in yet. I'll try and do that as I make the flyer. And then once these boxes go out, if somebody does a $5 donation, they get one of these. And then we'll build in other promotions. Maybe a business might want to put a little gift certificate or something in there so they can go shop and buy $20 worth of something or something. It's not the dollar amount that matters. It's the thought that counts, right? You do a little $5 donation, you get a little pet me talk, and you go in there and you open it up and you get to find out that you get to go buy $20 worth of something. Something that would be exciting. That would be exciting, right? Someplace close in the neighborhood. Someplace close where you can walk to. Okay, today is April 10th, 2011. The city of Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, is supposed to come to my house today at 12 o'clock with my landlady's daughter to deal with the yard. To deal with the issue of the yard. It's kind of starting to look like a pond in there, people. Do you see it as you're walking down the stairs? Did you notice that? It's coming in on the left. Alright, so if I'm looking like this, I go like that. Just imagine that's the little bridge. Right? Have a problem with raccoons, people. Okay? We're going to talk about this today. Because I'm tired of cleaning up fucking raccoon shit. Do you see that? That's what that is. That's raccoon shit. And it's on my back stairs too. So anyway, I just tidied up a little bit and just made a room for him to walk. For the master. There's his path. There's the master's path. Right there. I just moved everything off to the side and lined up those things. Right, and just tidied up a little bit, took the buckets away, because he doesn't like color, remember? Anything bright, it's got to go in the back in terms of children's toys. Water jugs, well, if it's black, blends into the environment, you don't really notice it, right? So that's a pretty good location for that one. Technically, because the ground is already dry, there should be 2 or 3 of them. So there's the other location of that raccoon shit. You can tell by the color of it, people. So whether this thing has got the runs, this mother from all this stress, and you can see she's knocking out my stuff. We're taking it. Don't step on that. Okay, I'm leaving that to show that to the city of Surrey, right? Because they got to do something about these raccoons, man. I'm telling you, right? This thing was out at 3 o'clock this morning. My daughter came up the stairs and that thing stood on its hind legs and was ready to charge. Right? I'm too afraid to go in there. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I don't think it's going to come out now. It's sleeping because it was running around at 3 in the morning, shitting all over my yard. Right? Seems to be coming out in and out this way. You can see how easy it is for the things have moved in there. So now that the door is open and it realizes the door is open, it's coming in and out of this way. Right? So I'd hate for a homeless person to go in there in the middle of the night thinking they're going to steal some stuff. Because if they steal some stuff, they're going to get bit if they stick their freaking hands in there. Seriously. So this is what the yard looks like today before Sook shows up. Okay? No! No! Come inside. No water. Turn it and don't challenge me. And that's what they do with any kind of water bowl. They had that in the bird bath out in the front, right? So any type of water that you have out for your pets, or if you have a bird bath, that kind of thing, definitely a pond. This is what you're going to get, no matter what.